Hello, everybody. This is Football Psych. I'm Coach Mad Mike.
And I'm good old Shaq. And how about those Cowboys?
Yeah, you even had the banner up there. How about those Cowboys, huh?
Hey, listen, I made a post yesterday. Soon as I seen the score from the game, I put up a post and I was like, oh yeah. How about them Cowboys?
Yeah. And so for those of you that just joined us or whatever, Lard Sarge will be on here in just a minute. He's having a couple technical difficulties, but he'll get it together and he'll come on as soon as he comes on. So not a second beforehand.
Yeah. Now you see, Coach Mad Mike, you see, I had to put the business attire on tonight. I had to put the
you look like you work a business, man.
Yeah. I had to put the tie, the collar shirt on. You know why? Because we have to mean business tonight. We have to win tonight. We have to get on the field. We have to represent. So I figured if we need the team to look like we mean business, I have to look like I mean business for the team. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta mean some business there, Shaq.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
It reminds me of my playing days, man, where we had to dress up before a game. Was it like that when you had to do it too? Did you have to dress up before games?
Yeah. You got to before every sport. You got to dress up, come in, nice shirt. You know what I'm saying? Nice shirt, nice tie, some slacks, maybe some khakis. You know.
Yeah, I had to show up games like that, but I didn't leave games like that.
Yeah, man. Look, Lars Sarge is not here yet, but
he's coming on. He's coming on. I'm going to add him right now.
Lars Sarge.
You got to turn off your phone, Lars Sarge.
He echoing.
He disconnected himself and not his other thing.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man. So, I'm looking forward to tonight's game. There's some things that I want to see, and I know we're gonna get into it once Lars Sarge get in. I know we're gonna get into it.
Lars Sarge is on.
In the house. It's in the house.
Yeah, Lars Sarge. You see, I had to put the business attire on tonight.
You're official. You're official, dear. You're official. Official material.
Yes, indeed. So, Coach Mad Mike, you the orchestrator, you the narrator. What we got going on tonight?
Hey man, this is our first ever pre-game show because normally, we do stuff before, like sometimes it's like post-game. Like we're always talking about what happened last time, what we could look forward to next week. But because it's Monday Night Football and our normally scheduled time, and I think this is our only Monday Night Football game this year, that it's a pregame show. We're going to try to run this show all the way up until game time, assuming we have the viewership, which I'm highly anticipating we will. We were going to be talking about what this team needs to look like tonight. All right, we got all kinds of things that we're going to talk about, like who's favored, what's the injury situation going to look like, what are the keys to victory that we need to be able to do, how are we ranked out, how statistically things are going. We can go a number of different ways, but we're going to play it by ear here. Is there anything that you want to talk about there, Shaq?
Well, there are things that I want to see from this team. I want to see the coaching. I definitely want to talk about the coaching tonight. All this RPO, jet sweep nonsense. I don't want to see none of that tonight. So I definitely want to talk about the play calling. I want to talk about our secondary issues and how they're going to hold up against Joe Burrow tonight. So there's some things that I kind of do want to dissect in this game, for sure.
Yeah, and one of the things we also want to do is we want to take fan comments. So if you got comments, put them in the comment section. We want to hear from you. We want to know what's important to you. So make sure you put in your comments. So, Lord Sarge, what do you want to see out of tonight?
Well, I want to talk about, in general, stats around the league and how it's become a running league and not a passing league and how that's affected Janie Daniels and how he's contributing to it. And I want to talk about the doggone pregame warm-up.
Yeah.
All right. So before you get to me, I need to hear what do you got to talk about for pregame warm-up?
As you know, Coach Mad Mike, we were sitting down watching the pregame on ESPN, and Jay Daniels comes into the stadium carrying a basketball, a big orange basketball with his headphones on. And you know who walked up to him? Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner comes out to give him a big hug, and Jaden Daniels didn't even have time to take his headphones off, turns on, oh, yeah, okay, hug and walk. Like he doesn't have a care in the world. Who shows up to a football game with a basketball?
And well, Lars Sarge, I'm glad you brought that up because one of the questions that we did have, one of the things we talked about was his maturity and his leadership. Now, that was one of the things we talked about on the previous show. He's sitting out there, not his mouthpiece not in showing. He's sitting on the sideline laughing and joking while we're losing to Tampa Bay. These his maturity and his leadership are in question with me. I'm gonna let you know right now.
Yeah, and I have to agree with that because there's certain things that you just do that are respectful, right? Like if Kurt Warner's going to come up there and give you a hug, you take your handphones down off your ears and you talk to him a second, you give him a hug. You respond back, right? You don't just like, oh yeah, okay, give me a hug back, but like I'm in my own world. That's a lack of maturity, right? And I'm sorry, I have to agree with Large Sarge too. What are you doing walking into the stadium with the basketball? Like, what the flip what are you saying? Like, I don't get it, right? So anyway, we are going to talk about a whole lot of stuff tonight. One of the things I want to talk about is, well, literally everything that we need to do because I would love to see a W out of this game, but it's not going to come easy. It's not going to come easy. So here we go. First things up, Bengals are favored to win anywhere from 7 to 7.5 points. Is that a good spread? What do you think there, Shaq?
No, okay, so now this is just me personally. No, it's not. I firmly believe this offense is not good enough to put points on the board. I don't believe in Kingsbury's play calling. It's things that I've said before. I've stated since I've been on the show. I don't believe in this play calling ability. Like Lars Sarr said, this league is turning into a run first league now. Like it's starting to transition back to old school football. Like if you think about it, but all the RPO, everybody's going on to it. They haven't been one success. Lamar Jackson is doing it out of pure talent, right? They're just moving around, shifting, all this stuff. Jaden Daniels is moving around, stuff like that. But Jalen Hurts not having success. Kyler Murray's not having success. You know what I'm saying? These guys that are typical runners are not having success. So I definitely want to see what this play calling is about. And as far as the final score, I'm going because I don't have confidence in this offense. I believe we're going to lose 26-12. 26-13. 26-13.
So you think it might be as high as 13 to 14 points on the spread?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, Lars Sarge, what do you think?
I think it's going to be closer. I think so. Through week 1 and then through week 2, we saw some major improvements in the game. We were at the Giants game, right?
Yep.
We saw some major improvements. We saw Jaden Daniels sticking in the pocket. He's still having problems deciding when to throw the ball and when to use his legs. He's prone to use his legs first. So hopefully this entire week he got some slip and slide drill and he got some staying in the pocket and find the receiver drill. If he did that, we're good.
I don't believe he did it.
I think this is the week he needs to break out and throw a touchdown. And I'm predicting that touchdown's coming to Eckler.
Okay.
I agree with that. I agree with that. It's not going to be a receiver. It's either going to be a tight end or running back for his first touchdown. So I agree with that.
Yeah. So do you think the spread's about right?
I think the spread's about right.
You think the spread's about right? I do too, reluctantly. I don't like to admit it because I want the Commanders to win. But are the Bengals favored to win this? Yes. But I think there's a chance. Like, I do think, like, it's probably a marginal chance. But I do believe there's a chance where we can upset the Bengals tonight.
No, definitely.
And the only reason why I say that is because of some stats I'm going to give you guys a little bit later about how well the Bengals, or the lack of how well the Bengals are actually performing to this point. They are not doing so hot.
Now, Coach Bad Mike, I hear you on this, right? Now, hear me out. Now, and I hear you. Now, if you think about this, statistically, they are playing bad, but Joe Burrow is going to have a field day on our secondary tonight.
He will. Yeah, he will.
Yeah. So
the other thing about it is, they're getting a healthy T. Higgins back. And which is concerning to me because now it takes a lot of the pressure off of Lamar Chase. So teams can't, our secondary, not that we have the ability to double team anyway, but like if we did have the ability to double team, we can't do that on Chase anymore, Jamar Chase, because
T. Higgins is back.
And so, Joe Burrow has the opportunity to really open things up tonight, and which is very, very concerning. And with they say Emmanuel Forbes is questionable. I think the worst thing you do is actually play him. I would put him on IR regardless if it's just his thumb hurting him, because I don't want him on the field.
So I agree with you. I agree with that sentiment right there, right? So my question to both of y'all is, why haven't we went and addressed this cornerback issue yet? We went out and we picked up a special teams guy to put on the practice squad. Why haven't we addressed this yet? We know Forbes is not our guy. We know this already. We know our secondary is Benjamin St. Juste barely practiced this last week. So like what are we really doing? We haven't addressed the real issues. Now it's going to take for Joe Burrow to go off tonight for them to finally say, okay, we have to fix this. And that's what I think is going to happen.
I think part of one of the things that disturbs me is, like, how do they not know already? How is it that we know and they don't know already? Right? I mean, we're not getting paid millions of dollars to assess this. They are.
Yeah.
How is it that they don't know this? And like what kind of bubble are you living in to go, yeah, man, our secondary is great? There's nobody outside that organization saying that.
Nope, nobody. And you know what? And I looked at the Patriots game, and I was like, look at Christian Gonzalez out here, all these tackles, almost a pick. You know what I'm saying? He did get beat in the corner, of course, for a touchdown, but Garrett Wilson is a dog. So, but I was looking at it, I said, look at how many tackles he had. Look at like they were scared to throw the ball in this direction. And this is the guy that we passed up on. I'm going to keep beating that dead horse till the horse come back alive.
All the experts say, 97% of experts say Bengals got this win. There's only 3% out there that say that Washington has a chance. I'm going to be in the Washington camp, and I'm not biased at all, obviously. Can't tell anything like that about anything I'm wearing. But
that's why the Commanders need to come out and win this one.
Yeah, clearly I'm not biased, but I think we have a chance. Obviously a lot of things got to go well. One of the things that there's a couple of things that I'm looking for. We'll get into them in a minute, like the keys to success. But I think we'll get to injuries. I think Cincinnati's dealing with quite a bit of injuries right now. I think that opens the door. I agree with Large Sarge. If we keep improving in the right direction, like from week 1 to week 2, we keep improving, we have a shot.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we got some comments out there. I think, Large Sarge. What are the fans that are on chat saying?
Yeah, literally my chat window just came up, so I'm having computer issues down here. So, hey, Jack, how you doing out there? Glad to have you on the show. And we got Chris McLean in. He's a Bengals fan.
Yeah.
He said they should definitely win the game. And Jack is out there 27-24 because of the wet field, Jack. So he thinks you two are pretty close.
Yeah, listen, and I'm gonna tell you this now. One thing that we're not keeping in mind, and hear me out, gents, Lars Sarge, Coach Man Mike, the Commanders, aka the Redskins, aka the football team, are 5-13 on Monday Night Football games. 5-13 is their record. 5-13.
Okay.
So that's something. That's another thing. We like that's since 2000. Since 2010. Since 2010, we're 5-13 on Monday night games.
Well, to me, those types of stats, to me, those are what I call empty stats.
Okay.
Like to me, they don't mean anything. Like to me, because teams change. You tell me you're like, it's kind of like saying, let me see, the Patriots are like 6-0 in Super Bowls. Like, what the heck does that mean to have anything to do with today? Right? Yep. So I don't put I call those empty stats. So I don't put a lot of stock into that. But I will say stats when I look at what teams are doing right now, it's those clearly, especially the further along you go into his season, indicators become stronger.
Yep.
That's become stronger. We're only 2 weeks into this season. I'm still not convinced what this team really looks like. There's a lot of question marks surrounding this team that leave a lot of unanswered questions.
Well, we know this is not a good ball club. Like, it is not. This team team is not a good ball club. So we know. I told you I gave us 8 and 9. I gave us 8 and 9 at the beginning of the season. Then I went to 6 games. They're actually watching the first game and watching them perform. I am letting you know we may win 5 games this year. I have no confidence in Kingsbury play calling. I don't have any confidence in Dan Quinn as a head coach. Y'all already knew I had a problem with him. Our secondary is trash. The offensive line looks like it's trying to get it together. I have no confidence in Jaden Daniels' maturity. Our receiver core is the worst in the NFC East. Clearly, I thought it was going to be the Giants, but Malik Neighbors is playing right now. So, I mean, out of 5 games tops. That's just me.
Well, we got more comments from the fans out there. Large Sard, we got.
Lisa Simmons, shout out to you. She says the Commanders don't stand a chance.
Damn.
Not a chance.
Seriously, not a chance? I mean, we're in the game.
Hey, Lisa, I'm going to tell you this. Any given day, that's why we watch. Any given day, something strange happens.
That's right. Any given day. There's a lot of upsets.
It's already been a very, very strange year.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of crazy. Just this weekend, there's been a lot of crazy upsets this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of one, how about those Cowboys? Now, I want to give a special shout out to my homegirl, Shonda Santiago. She just joined the chat. I want to give her a special shout out because soon as I saw the game was about to come on court, I said, "Hey, y'all better win. Y'all better win." Blah blah blah. She said, "You already know Lamar's going to go off, and guess what? You better not ever talk bad about my Ravens." Blah blah blah, etc. 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 Watch what I tell you. And every time it's like, "Look, what I tell you? What I tell you." So thank you, Shonda, for all of that, for the pep talk, the hype up, everything like that. Guess what? All you Cowboys fans, how about those Cowboys?
All right, well, I want to get into a couple of things here. I want to give out the injury report and see what things look like because injuries obviously play an important part of the game, and I kind of want to keep track of this. First of all, our friggin' defensive ends suck to begin with, but they suck even more this weekend because, Clelin Ferrell is out. He's already been ruled out for the game. So guess who's replacing him?
Jamin Davis.
Jamin Davis, your buddy there, Shaq. Jamin Davis is replacing him, and who's been inactive for the past couple of weeks, and so he's definitely going to be fresh, like Large Sarge said before we started the show. He's going to be fresh, but is he really ready? Is he going to be able to put on a pass rush against Joe Burrow?
And they're going to protect him. So I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe Kerrigan got some up his sleeve and taught him something.
Oh my goodness! So another one is Emmanuel Forbes is questionable, and if it was me, I would rule him out already because I don't want him on the field.
No. Literally, if you look at these games, Coach Man Mike, if you looked at these games, quarterbacks were picking on him.
Oh yeah,
they were picking on him.
Quarterback. If you were a quarterback, wouldn't you pick on him?
I would,
right? That should be everybody's game plan. Listen, I'll tell all 32 teams if man Forms is on the field, throw his way. That's a high percentage play right there.
Yeah.
That's a high percentage. Yeah. All right, so for Cincinnati's a little beat up, so that's why we might have a chance. Hold on. So Tanner Hudson, tight end, is ruled out. Sheldon Rankin, their defensive tackle, ruled out.
Good.
That's a big one right there.
That's a big one.
But here's another thing. 2 other defensive tackles are not doing so hot either. BJ Hill is doubtful. Usually when you hear doubtful, that means they ain't getting on the field. That means he's probably at least a week away, really. And then Chris Jenkins, the other defensive tackle, is questionable. I think he has more chance of going because it's a thumb issue. You can wrap that up and protect that. But it means he's not really getting a lot of grips And then you have Levon Bell, their safety, who's questionable. So there's a little bit of holes on this defense.
Well, so the safety, no matter if they got a safety ball or safety or not, how many actual deep balls have we seen from Jaden Daniels so far this season?
Yeah, no. He don't stay in the pocket long enough to throw a deep ball.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like how many pass over 20 yards have we seen from Jaden Daniels so far? Now, that would be shocking tonight to see him throw. But with the weather, like Jack said, with the weather being rainy up there and everything, it's gonna be a lot of Brian Robinson tonight. We're gonna get heavy doses of Brian Robinson.
Well, Brian Robinson would work to our favor because they are. I will tell you right now, they are the Cincinnati Bengals are number 32, last in the NFL against the rush.
What?
The Bengals are number 32 in the league, last in the NFL against the rush. They are giving up 4.5 yards per carry. Robinson can have a big day in the rain against the Bengals. He can have a big day.
And you know what? And that, look, and what you say, Coach Man Mike, and that is not an empty stat.
That's not an empty stat.
That's not an empty stat.
That's real. Right?
Yep.
And so
the worst defensive line in the game is playing against the worst offensive line. That means it's even. And that means we're going to have a huge running game.
I think we'll have a huge running game because, Brian Robinson is having a really good start. He's not putting the touchdowns up on the board, but he's been going into a little bit of beast mode. And I think he can do that against this team. And we can sustain drives that way. I don't trust Jaden Daniels yet with the football. And I don't want him part of the running game, which he will anyway, because Kingsbury doesn't know any better. He's not that smart. Yep. So, I would prefer Daniels just keep handing it off to Brian Robinson.
I'm handing off a football instead of a basketball.
Yeah, really, right? So here's another thing. I want to reiterate the point that Shaq just made about deep ball passing. When your two primary receivers that are leading the stat column right now for this Commanders offense is Eckler and Ertz,
it's a problem.
That means you're not getting the ball down the field.
Yeah.
And by the way, that means Terry McLaurin's doing what he did last year under Sam Howell. Is he running a whole lot of cardio and he's not doing anything?
Well, look, now, and I said this now. Remember, a couple weeks ago, I kept comparing Jaden Daniels to Lamar Jackson. The thing that's keeping Lamar Jackson back is his leading receivers have been tight ends. He's never had a receiver as a leading receiver, receiver. He's been running backs and tight ends. Andrews has been this guy. And we're starting to see the similar situations here in DC with Jaden Daniels. Like Zach
Daniels. But see, Jaden Daniels historically wasn't like that. When he was at LSU, it was Malik Neighbors. And so, I think he's too scared in that pocket to actually look downfield. As soon as there is a pass rush, he's bailing. He's like gone fast.
Yeah.
It's just like a little bit of pressure. I'm out. It's just like, hey, wait a second. Let him play develop.
It almost feels like he's scared to get hit. He don't want to get that first NFL taste yet. If that makes sense.
I'm not letting somebody say welcome to the NFL to me. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm not sticking around to find out. All right, so let's get to some of the keys to victory here. So I'm going to lead off, man, before I open to you guys. All right, and then let me see if you guys have something else. All right. So I'm going to lead off on this one. First of all, I think that the Commanders, in order to win, need to do four things, in my thing. So number one, they need to establish the run. Again, Cincinnati Bengals are number 32 in the league, and they're giving up 4.5 yards per carry. When it comes to the Commanders on their rushing, right? We are 13th in the league on rushing. So I like that. Let's run the ball, guys. And especially if it's wet out there, let's run the ball a lot. Let's get those freaking guys moving. And if the defensive tackles are a little bit soft, run it inside. Freaking start pounding, right? Run the inside. Next thing, use play action. I'm a huge believer that if you're scared in the pocket and you're setting up the run, go to play action. I want Jaden Daniels to use his legs to buy time by rolling out, and then get your eyes upfield and look for those things. Because by then, Terry McLaurin and some of these other receivers will get open. You might have a target there. I don't want your head down where you're automatically thinking you're going to run. I want you to keep your eyes up. All right. The third thing, this is a defensive call here, right? We need a pass rush. And you know you're not going to get much from Jamin Davis and Armstrong. Let's just face it. So the pressure is going to have to come from the inside. Where in the flip is Dron Payne and Jonathan Allen?
What? So now, hold on.
Hold on. I'm not doing all my stuff yet, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, hold on. Now, I'm gonna tell you this, right? If we notice this, now I agree with everything that you said, except for that, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't agree with this, Coach Mad Mike, because everybody knows that we are suffering on the defensive ends, so they don't have to put as many. They don't have to put as much effort on the ends when they know Payne and Allen are the focal points of this defense.
They are focusing a lot on the inside. So it could be a good day for Jamin Davis. It could be a good day for Armstrong. But I do want to see more pressure on the inside, because if we're going to beat Joe Burrow with the way our secondary is, with the healthy T. Higgins, a healthy Jamar Chase, we have got to put pressure on Joe Burrow. And then the fourth point that I want to make in order to be able to do this is Kingsbury's play calling. If that dude has not learned anything to this point, if somebody hasn't jumped in his butt right now, Dan Quinn, and tell him not what you said there, Shaq, get rid of this freaking read option crap, because you're going to get your quarterback hurt and you're going to be starting the rest of your games with freaking Marcus Mariota.
Yep.
Or Driscoll.
Who will get hurt?
You want to develop this young kid.
Or Sam Hartman. Come on, Hartman. Let's go, baby.
All right, Shaq. So you heard my thing. What are your keys to success in this one?
I agree with everything you said. So now I'm going to add on to it, right? So not only do I want to see more of Eckler and Robinson tonight. Robinson is having a stellar year. If the season were to end today, he would be our offensive MVP. Easily, hands down. Brian Robinson would be the offensive MVP. So I want to see heavy doses of him tonight. I do. Heavy doses of him. You know who I want to see tonight? Ben Sinnott. I want to see him on the field. I want to see him moving around. We invested a lot of stock in bringing him in. He made this roster. I want to see him on the field actually participating and playing. Right? He is the future. Zach Ertz is here now, but Ben Sinnott is the future. I want to see him on the field playing tonight. Right?
That's fair.
And I also want to see pressure on Burrow. We cannot let Burrow stay in the pocket and beat us. We cannot. So I'm leaning heavy. I want to see Dan Quinn and Joe Witt dial it up with linebacker blitzes. I want to see safety blitzes. I want to see all of this. I want to see stunts in the front. I want to see them getting after Joe Burrow. We cannot let Joe Burrow sit back there and beat us, knowing how terrible our secondary is. So those are the things that are the keys to success for me. And we need with our defensive line struggling, our secondary being bad, Bobby Wagner and Louisville going to show up tonight.
Oh yeah,
they're going to have to. They're going to show up. They're going to show up. If we want to win, they're going to have to show up tonight.
Yeah, good point. Good point. So, Lard Sarge, what do you think?
Keys to the game. What do I think? I think Wagner actually has to get on the field and have a pulse and do something, because he hasn't done nothing. I want to see Jaden. I want to see Robinson up the middle. I want to see Eckler on a screen pass. I want to see Zach Ertz tear up the center of that defense. That's where Jaden Daniels needs to be. The defense, I want to see them on their knees doing this. Dear God, please don't throw a pass. Dear God, please don't throw a pass. And we'll win.
Yeah. Oh yeah. One more thing. I got one more thing. I want to actually see Jaden Daniels has one of the best arms in this draft. Clearly, he had one of the best arms in this draft class. I want to see him let the damn ball fly.
Let it fly.
Like you got Terry McLaurin out there doing all this running stuff. I don't have no confidence in these other receivers. But Terry McLaurin is one of those guys. He made Heineke look like a superstar. Only thing you do is throw the ball in this direction, and he's gonna take care of it. So
yeah.
I want to see him throw the ball down the field tonight. This is what had to happen if we want to win.
No, I got you. And I think the other thing is we don't want our kicker kicking 7 field goals tonight. So we need to finish the ball in the end zone. We need to put some points. I also agree. Lars said it earlier. I want to see Jane Daniels throw a touchdown.
Me too.
Actually throw a touchdown.
He's got to.
He's got to, right? So, all right. So another interesting thing. So I'm going to give you some rankings of where the teams are. Interesting things here. So offensively, Washington is ranked 29th in the league offensively.
Believable.
The Bengals are ranked last, which is shocking to me.
Shocking.
How is it? I mean, I got it. The Bengals are in 2, but I would have never guessed their offense is ranked last.
Burrow's wrist is still a problem, and Jack brought that up as well. He's off for some reason, but he's still Burrow.
Right.
Well, it did not only that, right? You got Jamar Chase. You got injured wrist with Burrow. You got Jamar Chase. You got T. Higgins up there, right? But what we haven't talked about in their offense, they run game. Who they got in the backfield that's carrying the load, right?
I don't even know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, actually, I do know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know it's Moss, but Moss ain't doing anything.
Yeah, Higgins is back today. He's been out 2 weeks. Higgins is back.
Yeah, we mentioned that Higgins is back. And I know that's going to create some problems in the passing game. But for the run game, it's been Moss, and Moss just really hasn't been, they haven't really been able to create holes for him. So their running game's a mess. And talking about that, their run game is ranked last in the league as well. Their offense is ranked last, and it's probably because their run game is ranked last, right?
So this is what we don't want, because the Bengals, over like the last few years, the Bengals have always started like this. They start like one loss, or they'll win one game, then lose 3, and then next thing you know, they're in the playoffs. They always start like this. I don't want this to be the game where they go on a hot streak. They win and they just go on a hot streak. You know what I'm saying?
This is the game where they get it all together, huh?
Yeah, I don't want that. Why us? Why us?
Why? It doesn't have to be us, man.
Well,
who are they playing next week? Make it be them.
This could be their comeback game, right? It really could be. It should be, right?
No.
It should be. But if they're approaching it that way, like we got this, we should win this. We know we're going to win this, and they underplan for it, and they get surprised because the Commanders got just a wee bit better this week again in practice. Could be a game.
So talking about passing offenses that I find kind of weird is it should be a shock to anybody that the Bengals have a better passing offense than we do.
Of course.
But the rankings are kind of interesting. So we are ranked 29th in the NFL for our passing game, and the Bengals are only ranked 27th in the NFL in the passing game. So they are better than us, but it's not saying a lot. I think the Bengals are way underrated right now. Kind of like what you say, once they get hot and they get going, they're going to skyrocket up the charts, right?
You get Higgins.
I don't know if we have the ability to skyrocket anywhere.
Well, no, and I'm telling you, somebody has to look. The receiving room is not good. Our receiving room is not good. The play calling is not good. How many games are we going to have to lose before we sit down and they be like, all right, Cliff, it was nice having you here, but shoot. You know what I'm saying? We gotta bring somebody else in. I mean, it is.
I'm gonna tell you, as a guy who's been around coaches for a while, I don't like to shoot coaches out during the season. But that doesn't mean behind closed doors you can't have a talk.
True.
And if you're a head coach, you can trump what a coordinator says. I don't care how much a coordinator's ego is, like, I run the offense around here, blah, blah, blah. No. At the end of the day, you work for the head coach.
Yep.
And there comes a time where, as a head coach, when you know something's not working, I'm not saying week 2 is it, but like, to me, week 2 could already be it, because you've already seen a lot already. You've seen him all in the offseason. You've had 3 preseason games to watch him, and you had 2 regular seasons. So you've actually been through 5 games with him already. And you know what 5 games is? It's close to half of a college season.
Yeah.
So you've had time to evaluate your coordinator. And so from a head coach's perspective, I would say pull him in there and go, listen, and based off of my opinion, what I'm seeing out there, I want you to do this a little bit less.
Yeah.
The read option, I want you to do this less because he is our future, and I want you to develop this quarterback. I don't want to get him hurt. So I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying dial it back and dial up the run maybe a little bit more and work on Jaden to look downfield, right? Just some simple things.
Well,
But go ahead and do what you do, play what you do, because you got to work with coordinators, right? Because they got egos too, right? Go ahead and do what it is you do, but dial back the read option. Just dial it back.
So I'm gonna tell you this, and this is just me personally. This is what I think. But and be honest, like you said, we're not gonna fire him in the middle of the season. But if this offense does not pick up, I'm telling you right now, Kingsbury's gonna be gone at the end of the season.
Yep.
He's gonna be gone at the end of the season, and I think he may be done in the NFL. This
That's
is
true.
me. That's just me.
If Kingsbury gets fired from this job, he's done.
He's done in the NFL.
Yeah, he'll be done. I think Witt will be on a longer leash defensively because of his connections with Dan Quinn, and I think Dan Quinn is on a longer leash just because of his connection with Adam Peters. So, more than one season. I'm not going too far. I'm just saying, I think their jobs are safe no matter what at the end of this season, right? So, they'll get next year.
I'm already calling for his job.
Cliff Kingsbury could be on the hot seat already.
Yes, and I'm already calling for Dan Quinn's job. I didn't like the hire in the first place. I'm already calling for his job. I didn't like the hire in the first place. Y'all know this. I'm adamant about that. I don't know why we brought Dan Quinn in. What was his credentialing for him to bring him in?
They couldn't get Brad Johnson, and they couldn't get Jim Harbaugh. When you can't get Ben Johnson, you can't get Jim Harbaugh. Well, you go with Dan Quinn, and I don't know. I would have, and oh, by the way, you're not going to hire Adam Peters to sign Bill Belichick. You're not going to do that because Bill Belichick will be his own general manager, right? So you were out of options, right? There wasn't a whole lot more out there. I'm
calling for his job.
And then you also had Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator of the Lions, and he wasn't leaving Detroit either. So, at the end of the day, you really didn't have a lot of options.
Why we ain't trying to go after Pete Carroll?
Because he's Pete Carroll? I wouldn't hire Pete Carroll.
Oh, why not? No,
because he's an idiot. I've seen so many stupid things out of him. I'm telling you, I lost all faith and confidence in him when they were in the Super Bowl game, and he did not freaking hand the ball off to
beast mode. Yeah, that was dumb.
When you're going to throw the ball like that, I was like, I don't trust you on play calling anything. You're done.
Yeah.
I've lost confidence, and everything I saw from him after that, he was on a steady downhill thing from there.
But if you think about
it, I would not bring Pete Carroll in.
And now I'm going to tell you why I think it would have been a good hire. I think it would have been a good hire. One, he rallies the troops. That Seattle team was not good when he got there. It was not good. He built one of the best defenses in the league.
I get you, but here's my counter to that. There's a bell curve with everybody.
Yeah.
Right? You're talking about when he was climbing up his bell curve. I'm talking about when he was coming down on the other side of the bell curve. He's way on the other side of that bell curve now, to me. I agree with you where he was, but he's not that guy no more.
He would have been better hired than Dan Quinn.
Yeah, maybe. I struggle with that one. I struggle with it.
Yeah.
So, hey, Coach, Shaq, I want to give a shout out to Cam. We got a new viewer on tonight named Cam. Cam, welcome to the show. Thanks.
Welcome, Cam. Yeah.
What's Cam have to say?
But what's
Cam saying out there, Lars Arch?
It's been quiet. They've been listening. They've been paying attention. They're hanging out there watching what we got to say about the Commanders.
Good. Welcome, Cam. Appreciate having you.
First
Go ahead
time
and comment if you got something to say about the show. We'd love to hear your comments. So let's keep moving here. So a little bit of stats here I found interesting. I've compared the quarterbacks this week between Joe Burrow and Jayden Daniels. Now, Joe Burrow obviously has had a wrist injury and is not playing his game. And Daniels has not transitioned to the NFL yet. So, he's got a ways to go. But just so far in the stats, completion percentage-wise, Jayden Daniels actually leads him. Jayden Daniels has actually completed 75.5% of his passes, where Joe Burrow's at 67.7%. They're about the same in yardage, but Joe Burrow has thrown for 2 touchdowns, and Jayden Daniels hasn't thrown for nothing.
And who now? I know this is another empty stat to you, Coach Mad Mike, but who has a high QBR?
Well, that's not an empty stat. Quarterback ratings matter, and Joe Burrow has a higher quarterback rating.
Yeah.
That's not empty stat.
That's what I was getting at. So, like Joe
if you ask me career-wise, that's empty stat because Jane Daniels doesn't have a history, right?
Yeah.
But current quarterback rating, right now it would be Joe Burrow because of what he's put up on there. As far as touchdowns, because touchdown is interception ratio configures into that. And when you have 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions against somebody who hasn't thrown a touchdown, obviously your QBR is going to be higher.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't want it to happen tonight. I do not want it to happen tonight. But I'm telling you, with our secondary and the lack of pressure on the front, I really honestly think that Joe Burrow is going to explode tonight. Maybe throw for 300 yards tonight.
Yeah, if he does that, he'll look like a top 5 quarterback where he should be.
All right, I'm gonna change my my prediction here on the game.
You're not allowed.
Yeah, I am. Commanders are gonna win by a field goal. Cyber.
A cyber field goal.
A walk-off field goal.
A walk-off field goal.
All over themselves, don't know what to do, can't get out of it. They're not going to get the Commanders out of the game when they should have long ago. The Commanders going to hang in and do a walk-off field goal.
Hey, I'm challenging the fan base right now. All you who are listening right now, I want your predictions on the game. Go ahead and start typing them in. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah,
I want to hear from the fans. What do you got, fans? Fans, I want you to know. Type in right now who you picked for this game. Write it down in the chat section. I want to hear from you. And I will call you out on what it is that you are. So go ahead, get your fingers working, fans. I want to know how you see this game happening tonight. So while we're doing that and we're waiting for them to do it, I will tell you from a running back perspective, Robinson so far this year has rushed for 173 yards, where Moss has only rushed for 78. So it does look like we've got a better running game there. Both have rushed for a single touchdown. So we got a little bit more going there. Receiving wise, I will tell you there's been a lot more receptions. Gesicki looks good out there, 10 receptions for 109. Chase has 10 receptions for 97. Our 2 leading receivers have 7 receptions each. Eckler with 99 yards, Ertz with 90 yards. What you don't see in there is you don't see anything with T. Higgins. I expect T. Higgins to get on the board here and really get going. But on the reverse aspect, I think it's time to get Terrell Owens. Terry McLaurin. Yeah, we signed Terrell Owens. Did y'all not know that? All right, I'm lying through my freaking teeth. We did not sign.
He better than what we got.
Yeah, for real. I think I would line him up today across Terry McLaurin. But no, I don't expect Terry McLaurin tonight to actually get on the board and get going here. So, all right. So far, we've let people chime in. Hey, fans, that what I'm calling y'all out to do is to put how you think this game's going to turn out.
So I got
favored to win. What do you think your scores are? What do we have so far, Lars Sarge?
So we got Jack with 24 Commanders. And we got Cam agreeing with me saying, yeah, I could see the Commanders winning by 3.
Wow, we got 2 people thinking that the Commanders are going to win by 3. All right. Hey, everybody else who's listening in, don't be shy. Type it in. Who do you think is going to win? This is a participation sport on here. If you just want to watch another show, but on here, on Football Site, this is a participation sport. We want you participating.
Now, I can tell you right now. Look, at Shonda's back. She said 2017 Commanders.
Oh, that's a field goal game too.
It is a field goal game. And again, look, thank you, Shonda. She's
all
the
right,
best.
Shonda. Oh, that's awesome, man. So that's like 3 or 4 different people now who called it by a field goal. That's interesting.
I just don't have that much confidence in Washington's offense. Again, I want us to win tonight.
We got a field goal kicker.
Yeah. I know. I want us to win tonight for sure. And he proved it. I mean, we was at the game. He kicked 7 field goals.
I think Lard Sarge called the game tonight. I think the fans agree with Lard Sarge here.
I think so, man. I mean, it's pretty unanimous, man.
It's going to be the underdog game of the week for sure.
Underdog game of the week. I don't know. There was a lot of underdogs that won this week.
Yeah. And one of them was, how about those Cowboys? Let's go, Ravens. I was an honorary Ravens fan yesterday. How about those Cowboys?
Yeah, for real. Honorary Ravens fan. Just north of the DMV.
Yeah.
No, I always pick on my Ravens fans that the DMV includes Maryland, and a lot of Ravens fans do not like me when I say that, but I don't really care. I say it all the time anyway.
They feel like they're their own special partner, Maryland up there.
Yeah, or something like that. Or they should own Maryland, and it should be just DV. But no, we're the DMV. So
yeah. Now I see everybody's agreeing. I see everybody's agreeing with the 3-point score, but I'm telling you, I just don't see it. I'm telling you, 26-13, somewhere in that 27-13, Bengals. That's what I got tonight, and I'm going to stand firm on that. I am.
Oh, man.
I think Burrow's going to have a good game tonight. We're gonna see a lot of Brian Robinson on our offense. We're gonna see a lot of Eckler on the offense, but I believe T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, and Jamar Chase are gonna put it together tonight.
Ooh, man. So there's many times where you're right. There's many times since we've known each other where you're right, where I've always tell you I hope yet you're not.
Yeah.
And this is another one of those times that you may be right, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. So a lot of times you're right, and I go, man, but I don't like it. So I don't want the Bengals to win, So if I was objective, obviously the spread says that they got them by 7 points or whatever. But, there's been so many underdogs win this week, and I feel like this is underdog weekend.
Okay,
this is underdog weekend.
I'm feeling it.
The Rams.
Oh, really?
That's an empty stat, by the way, to say it's underdog weekend.
No. If you think about it though, the Rams won this weekend. The Texans lost. There were some underdogs that won this.
Denver.
Weekend. Yeah, Denver. Yeah, there were some underdogs that won this weekend. Hey, Denver looking like a good ball club, man.
Didn't Carolina even win?
Yeah.
And I didn't even think Carolina had a win in them this year.
Yeah.
So, we might pull it off. If we pull it off, I will eat those words. You know what I'm saying? I would love
for once to allow you to eat your words if it means a Washington win.
Jack is saying he's already 3-0 on his betting this weekend. He wants the Commanders to win so he can make it a clean 4.
Jack. Okay. I don't know what his other 3 were this week. You need to type them in. What were your other 3 this week? Because we didn't know. We weren't tracking that. So I want to know. I want to know how you were 3-0 this week. What games did you pick? So, did you pick an underdog? That's what I want to know, Jack. Let me know. So,
Jack, did you pick an underdog out of those 3?
Yeah, keep typing, buddy. So, but no, that's awesome, man. So, so any other viewers on? If you got a call for this game, again, this is a participation channel. So, tell us what you thought about it. So,
and what now? I'm gonna let me ask this question since we on this, right? How many sacks do you think our defense is going to come up with today?
Ooh, that's a good question.
How many sacks y'all think with this defense, with the way the defensive line looks, our linebacker core, the way our defense looks right now, how many sacks y'all think we're going to get on Burrow tonight?
I'm gonna say 2.
0?
I said 2.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. Every time we get close to a sack, Joe Burrow's going to snake his way out of it and toss the ball off for to the relief valve. He's not going to get sacked.
Really? Okay, I'm gonna be a little bit. I don't know. I think it's going to be 2. It's not going to be a high number, but I think that I think that they're going to stunt. I think Witt's going to try to stunt. They know that they have to put pressure on him. Yeah. I think they are going to try to pull out all stops, and they're going to get lucky 2 times. I think we're going to get 2 sacks. What do you say there, Shaq? I
was going to say 0 as well, but depending on how they play, how the ends play, and we may get 1 sack. I don't have no, and unless they do send Bobby Wagner to do what he's supposed to be doing, jamming the run, blitzing, stuff like that. Bobby Wagner not supposed to be out there covering. So if they sending him to do his job, we may get a sack.
Okay, so all right, again, it's participation sport, large stars. What's the fan base saying?
Shanda's agreeing with me. 0. Cam says zero calls me crazy. Zero's a wild number, and Jack is saying 3.
Jack's saying 3?
3.
Wow, Jack. All right. So
okay, Cam's come back and said at least 2.
okay. So I'm kind of saying 2 as well. So I'm agreeing with Cam on this one. But like, you know, this is interesting. So we have a 0 to 3 range. We don't really have anything higher than 3, which means that's not a lot of pressure.
No.
You know, it gets to become a lot of pressure when you get around the 4 range. You know, and 3 might be pushing it, but I'll be very interested. This is something that we should all track tonight to see how we all did. I think it'll be fun to see. Yep. Hopefully we get a lot of pressure though. I mean, we know we need pressure.
Now, and then I'm gonna tell you this right now. If watching film on this Washington defense, if I was Joe Burrow and we received the ball out the gate, we just received the ball, I would take a shot downfield first play. I would Jamar Chase down the field first play.
Off of a play action where you roll them out because they think you're handing it to Brian Robinson first play.
No, not. I'm talking about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow.
Now, Joe Burrow. You said for us receiving the ball first.
No. If the Bengals receive the ball first, do not be surprised if you don't see Joe Burrow go long, throw a long ball first play.
He's gonna stretch and test the secondary. He definitely is.
The first play of the game. I'm talking about first
like
play.
Higgins or somebody, right? Just right off the bat, just throw it out there. Yep. Because our secondary is so freaking weak, man.
Yes.
It is so weak.
And then another bold prediction. Jaden Daniels going to rush for maybe 75, 80 yards tonight.
Yeah, which I don't want him to do, but yeah, you're probably right. He'll probably do it.
Which
will show a lack of progression, in my opinion.
Yeah, that means we lose.
Yeah, I mean, if he's rushing that much, I that means he's not keeping his eyes downfield. He's not going through progressions.
Yeah,
and that concerns me. You know, if he gets scared and he starts, because you know now you're developing pattern behavior that's a bad habit.
Yep.
And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see him doing that.
Yep.
All right, Coach and Shaq, I got a question in from Jack. He wants to know before the trade deadline, what kind of wide receiver could we bring in?
Oh, good question.
And you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead, Shaq.
Now, again, we need veteran leadership in this room. We need some guys that they are seasoned. They can play. They still got game. Even though they're a little bit older, I've said these names on here multiple times. Michael Thomas. You know what I'm saying? I've said these guys, Corey Davis. Bring these guys in. I don't know why we brought Noah Brown in. There are guys out here, you know what I'm saying? Juju Smith-Schuster's gone. He's a terrible route runner anyway. But there are other guys that we could have brought in prior to this. I would say, look at Michael Thomas. Look at these guys. Look at what's his name? Robert. What's his name? He used to play with the Rams. He played for the Texans last year. Robert Woods. Bring in Robert Woods. What are we waiting on? If we know we need
Robert Woods would be a great choice.
I'm telling you, we know we need help in this receiving room, and we're not doing nothing to address it. We know it. It's one of the weak points on here. What are they waiting for the draft? I don't know. Why aren't we trading for one? I don't get it. But at some point in time, we have to pull the trigger and get some help in it. Same thing with the secondary.
But the names that you mentioned are free agents. We can sign them today.
We can. Why haven't we? That's the thing.
But one of Jack's questions is who would we bring in for the trade deadline? I assume he means trading for one. I mean, clarify that, Jack. But because before the trade deadline, trade deadline doesn't matter when it comes to signing somebody off the street. We can do it beforehand or afterwards, so it doesn't matter. If he's on the street, he's on the street. So if I'm looking at trade deadline, I assume you mean like what kind of trade can we make for somebody out there? And then you're looking for like who's there. I think that ship has sailed personally because you've had guys out there that have been disgruntled. You've had guys like Ayuk that was in issues, right? You had guys like CeeDee Lamb who had issues in Dallas. You had guys that were out there, and we chose not to go that direction at all. And
we actually chose not to spend any money at all.
Right. And when we chose to do that, to me, it tells me we're not going to do anything before the trade deadline. Another secret to me about Adam Peters is when we had the second overall waiver wire selection, which we still have, by the way, as people get done, and we don't even pick up people because they're like, we're building a team and not talent. That tells me all I need to know. Because you do a stupid comment like that, that tells me like you're done.
It's dumb.
Moves, and you're being an idiot. And when you're being an idiot like that, that tells me you're not going to make any moves before the trade deadline. Because we have numerous needs that we did not really address. We never addressed left tackle. We never really addressed our defensive end situation seriously. We never really we don't have a number 2 wide receiver on this team. We have bad secondary out there. We didn't really freaking address that, even though we brought in guys like Jeremy Chin and we brought in guys like Mike Davis and we drafted a guy like Sinistril. It's not enough. We clearly still have issues, right? Yep. So we have issues across the board that we're not really, truly, honestly addressing. So that tells me a great question, Jack, about the trade deadline. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't make a single move. That would be my prediction. There will not be a single move that they make.
Jack is saying he's heard rumors this week about trades with the Raiders and or
not going to happen.
Texans.
And then look, and I'm gonna tell you why it's not gonna happen. Right now, everybody around the league is watching certain teams. They're watching. They know who needs help. They know Washington needs help. They're going to watch Jaden Daniels continue to play the way he's playing, and they're not going to take a chance on coming to Washington knowing that they're not going to get the stats to get paid. They're not going to get the yardage or the touchdowns to get paid. I am telling you. So having him at a quarterback at this point in time is going to be a detriment to us because receivers ain't going to want to play with him.
Yeah, if you were going to do that, you should have done it where the buzz was high. Oh, we just drafted Jaden Daniels. He's going to light it up. That's the time you get somebody. Now that they've seen him play,
they're
like, he hasn't even thrown a touchdown this year.
Yeah, for real. I'm just saying.
And what are wide receivers? Wide receivers want to score touchdowns. That's their bank account. That's how they make money. They can't make money if you don't throw them the ball.
No endorsements. They lose endorsement money. They lose stats money, bonus money, all that stuff. Because he want to run around in the backfield, doing circles and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like nobody wants to come in and play with that.
No, wide receiver will not look at that. They're like, he hasn't even thrown a touchdown yet.
We better all picking up a dude off the streets. Now the trade, the longer the season goes, it's gonna be harder for us to trade for a receiver. We better all picking up a guy off the streets.
Yeah, so here's my question. Why, we talked about this numerous times on the show, especially about left tackles. We talked about this with other guys like the secondary and receivers. Why isn't this team actually trying to improve this roster? I don't get it, especially when we had the number 2 overall on the waiver wire when team cuts were happening. We didn't bring in anybody off the waiver wire. Like, we're missing opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to improve this team. And they're not doing it. I don't get it. Help me out, Shaq.
Okay, so my thing is, right, maybe Adam Peters has a plan. Adam Peters, because, I mean, he built that team, that roster up in San Francisco, right? He has a track record of building teams up and helping teams out. So maybe he has a plan. Maybe we just don't see his vision yet. Like, I do not know. But there were plenty of people this offseason that we could have went out there and got and still saved money. We can still have draft capital. We can still have cap space, all that stuff. But they did not pull the trigger on a lot of players. Secondary, Xavier Howard still out there. There are guys that's out there. Stephon Gilmore was out there for a long time. Guys that could help guide and mentor our secondary. They could have brought in. Their defensive ends we could have brought in. They did not. Their receivers we could have brought in. They did not. They brought in Zacchaeus and they brought in James Crowder back. Why? I don't know. But there are other guys that we could have brought in. We brought in we drafted tight end, but we brought in old tail Zach Ertz. Like, come on, man. I don't know.
The left tackle, we didn't trade up into the first round. We waited till the third round to get a left tackle. And who do we bring back? Cornelius Lucas? Like, come on. We didn't even bring back Charles Leno.
Nope.
And there's a ton of left tackles out there. You know, we could have got Bakhtiari. We could have got J.D. Humphries. We could have got Donovan Smith. We didn't do any of those, right? So, like, there's a lot of things that we could have done, and we just didn't do it. I had my theory on that. I mentioned it before. I believe that this team was put on a budget, and they were bargain shopping. I believe that this owner gave every penny he had to buy this team and is probably maybe not in a good financial position as many might suggest, because he brought a lot of outside money in. They even had to sign Northwest Bank to be on the friggin' stadium because they struggled there. And my theory is they probably came to a point where they said the checks that I've written so far is what I can do. This is going to be a long-term progress. We're going to tell everybody we're trying to win now, but we really aren't. We're building for the future. You built what you could do this year. The next step is building what we can do next year.
So Coach Van Mike, now hear me out though, right? So hear me out. So in order to make money to recoup what you lost, you have to fill stadium seats. If this team is not good, you're not going to fill seats. Those $100, 400 level tickets are going to go to 19, 20, 30 bucks. You're not going to recoup your money that way.
You and I think the same way, but you and I are also Commanders fans. You got to remember this ownership group. They're basketball guys for one. Yeah. And even though Josh Harris grew up in the area, he's been away from it for a while, right? It's very different when you're living up in the New Jersey area like he was before, kind of doing all those kinds of things and being a billionaire trying to figure things out and bidding for a team. I don't think he fully understood what was going on with this fan base over the past 5-10 years. This
20 years.
Yeah, but it's 20 years. But I will tell you the real part where this team really started going south was when we lost the Redskins name.
Yeah.
And that has disenfranchised the alumni, has disenfranchised the fan base. We're not all on the same page. And we are so sick of losing and we're so sick of the dysfunction that we will give up on this team quick. That's the part that I think they're underestimating. They think that they could promise wins and that we're going to stick by their side. They really don't understand our fan base right now. We are disfranchised.
I'll tell you, I know exactly. Adam Peters is not a team builder, and he has no intention of building a team to win this year. And you know how I know that?
Well, I think he's a team builder.
Standing outside the stadium for the Giants game, the home game. You know what our flyover was? Anyone want to guess what the flyover was?
Yeah, it was
an Air Force tanker. One Air Force tanker.
Yeah.
You're not investing in the team. You don't want to win with an Air Force tanker. Adam Peters never planned to win this year. They're not spending the money to win this year because they ain't got no money.
Yeah, I don't think they have money. I think that's probably true. I mean, I don't have any official report to say that, but it just logically does not make sense that you stop trying to build a team and that you're not pulling in talent to win now. Like you hear them, they double speak. I've been listening a lot to how Adam Peters said. A lot of what he says is, we are building a team. We are building a team. It's going to take time to build this team. It's not all going to happen in 1 year. But then he turns around and he says, but we're trying to win with what we got now. That tells me, like, you're saying that to appease the fan base, but the reality is you might be a team builder, but you're looking for multiple years to do it.
Well, and that's the thing right there. This fan base does not have the patience for that.
Yeah, that's the part that I think they underestimate is the fan base.
Yeah, the fan base don't have the patience for that. We've been sucking since the 90s. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, we don't have the patience for that. So now, to your point with the Redskin name, they're enshrining the Redskin logo in the stadium. They're putting a statue in the plaque. I did not hear
that news.
Yeah.
They're going to put the logo back up.
Yeah, they're putting the statue and they putting the logos up in the stadium. Yep, they're enshrining it in the stadium.
When is that going to happen?
I forgot the exact date, but
look that up for us because I'm very interested in that. Because I will tell you what that will do is there's been a movement out there by the Witzel family. I know that about getting the logo back to this team, and also with Senator Gaines on passing the stadium being built back in D.C. That bill is being blocked unless we bring back the Redskins logo. Now, for the fans that are not tracking this, I did a video on this. You can watch it. But for a lot of the fans that are out there, this has a lot to do with just the logo, not the name. Like we would still be the Commanders, but the logo is what they're talking about.
It's already on display. Watch the Commanders now have Warrior logo on display in Northwest Stadium. It's already on display.
Okay. And because I think that's a precursor of something that I would do next if I was in their shoes. Once you display that logo and you let all the media get kind of used to it, like that's a thing, I would tell you what I would do then is I would have a throwback game where you wear a throwback uniform with the logo on a helmet, but you're still called the Commanders. That would be the next move I would make.
Yeah.
It might not happen this year, but I would definitely start working plans for a throwback game.
At some point, they have to get the fans what they want. Because us diehard fans, we weren't worried about the name of the team. That the Native Americans wasn't worried about the name of the team. You know what I'm saying? It was some lady with purple hair worried about the name of the team. You know what I'm saying? It was some dude that said that
this is a girl with purple hair, you know?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, like, no, what do you mean? What do you mean?
It's not an Indian. It's not an Indian. So it's usually a girl with purple hair, you know?
They has a problem with these things.
It's got a problem with it, right? And the first thing I want to say is go educate yourself. But anyway, so there we are. We are now about 10 minutes away from kickoff, but I want to try to make sure we go around the horn. I also want to make sure that we get the fan base to get some words in there too. So if there's any questions, if there's any comments that you want to make out the fan base, send them in right now. Let's get them in. What do you think about the game? What do you think about certain topics? Let's get them all in right now. Large Sarge will rattle them off. But I'm going to start with you, Shaq, on any parting comments on what you think about tonight's game and what you're looking for.
Well, if we win tonight, I'm gonna be ecstatic, extremely excited. I'm gonna be ecstatic. I want heavy doses of Brian Robinson again. I want this offense that actually look like an offense. All right. So I'm gonna be ecstatic if we win. If we don't, I'm not gonna be disappointed as long as we play our tail off. But right now, that's what I really want. I just want to see the guys go out there and look like they're putting in effort. I don't want us to get steamrolled tonight. If we get steamrolled tonight, I'm already calling for Dan Quinn's job. And y'all have heard me say this already a bunch of times. I'm already calling for his job. So I don't want to.
You never liked him being hired in the first place. But you know what? I love the fact, Shaq, that you were dressed up in a tie, man. You look like a real reporter.
Because we need to be about business tonight, Coach, man.
We got to be about business.
We got to be about business tonight.
And I want to second something on you about like being blown out. If we get blown out tonight, I don't think this ownership group or this coaching staff or this general manager understands how negative our fan base can get. If we get blown out tonight, it's going to get ugly in the DMV. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you. It's going to get ugly in the DMV. People are going to go off. They're going to be hysterical about this team. And the honeymoon period will be officially over for the whole group of them, all of them.
Yeah.
Like, it better be a competitive game. Like, we really, like I said, if we lose, okay, but it better be competitive. Like, you see that we're moving in the right direction. Otherwise, it could get real ugly. All right, Marge, what do you think?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Buffalo's up 13-0. The game's coming on, and I need to pee and get a beer. And I want to see the game. I just want to see some improvement. I'll be happy.
All right. So there you go. Do we have any last comments from fans there, Large Sarge?
0.
Okay. Well, we will call it right there.
How about those Cowboys?
Yeah, let's go, Commanders. Let's go, Commanders. Let's get out there and let's try to win this game. All right. And we will see you next time. This is Football Second. We are out of here. Peace.
Peace.